Welcome to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program, or IJP, where I ask the question, whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? A proud part of the Panoply Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Pizzaply Media. I'm your host, Brian Thompson, investigative journalist. This week marks the one-year anniversary of the second edition of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the board game, which now, for legal reasons, is entitled The Board Game Adaptation of an Investigative Journalism Program About Fast Food Pizza. I have previously spoken about the troubles I have experienced bringing this exciting game of strategy to the market, but I will briefly summarize for new listeners. Some time ago, I designed Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the board game, as a way to engage children and adults with the greatest story ever told, the story of McDonald's pizza. In the game, one side takes on the role of the forces of truth seeking to return pizza to the menu, and the other side plays as the forces of obfuscation, which seek to ensure the world remains in its dystopic, pizzaless state. In a bitter twist of irony, the real-life forces of obfuscation colluded to poison the mind of my publisher against me. Very shortly after the game's release on thegamecrafter.com, I was served an electronic mail informing me it was being removed from publication over concerns about the use of the trademark McDonald's in the title, as well as the use of supposedly copyrighted images of my journalist mentor Bob Woodward and my broadcasting mentor Art Bell. I informed my publisher that if they bothered to do their due diligence and check, they would probably find that the images of Mr. Woodward and Mr. Bell were not under copyright. I would have checked myself, but I was simply too busy. Second, the idea that the word McDonald's is the sole property of the McDonald's Corporation is simply absurd. If so, thousands of children per year would be chained up and shipped off to child prisons for illegally crooning a tune called Old MacDonald's Had a Farm. But these explanations fell upon deaf ears, or rather, since they were written in an electronic mail, deaf eyes. The brave/lackadaisical proprietors of the digital board game outlet Tabletopia continued to offer the digital version of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the board game, for free online play. But the fact is, board game enthusiasts are simply not excited by the idea of playing digital board games. Digitality removes some of their favorite aspects of the art form, namely avoiding screens and fiddling with little bits. After several months of pleading, many more months of distraction or disinterest, and a year or so of sort of forgetting I had ever designed a board game in the first place, I finally succumbed to the demands of my publisher and altered the game to address their specious concerns. I changed the title to the unquestionably copyright-friendly The Board Game Adaptation of an Investigative Journalism Program About Fast Food Pizza, and I hired an artist on Fiverr.com to utilize the latest art technology to replace any photographs of actual persons with vague and smeary visual approximations of said persons that perhaps feature one or two too many fingers. However, without revealing the details of my financial statements, I will say that sales of the board game adaptation of an investigative journalism program about fast food pizza have been somewhat metaphorically soft. The true board game enthusiasts in my audience have responded quite positively. I know this because I hear from them quite a bit, as they direct message me questions about how to interpret confusing portions of the rulebook. And a fair number of sales have come from collectibles speculators who purchase copies just to keep them stored in unopened mint condition until their resale value skyrockets upon the event of my passing away. But it was always my intention for this game to compete with family classics such as Monopoly and Don't Wake Daddy. So far, this is simply not the case. While brainstorming solutions to this problem, I realized an interesting realization. I have never played Monopoly. On a superficial level, there is very little difference between this highly financially successful game and mine. They both have boards, cards, and little bits. But perhaps there is something in the gameplay of Monopoly that speaks to the competitive centers of the human brain in a way that I might seek to emulate in a potential third edition of the board game adaptation of an investigative journalism program about fast food pizza. For research, I purchased a copy of Monopoly and set aside some valuable investigation time to play it. Unfortunately, the experience was not everything I had hoped.
Thank you for calling Hasbro's customer service department.
Thank you for calling Hasbro. This is John speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. I guess I'm calling for some advice. I think I may have accidentally consumed one of the playing pieces from the Monopoly game.
Okay. Do you mind just give me 1 second here, please?
Certainly.
And what's your name again? Sorry, Brian.
Brian Thompson. Brian with one R.
1 second. Hello, Brian.
Yes.
I'll be sending you over to one of our supervisors so they can assist you further. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I'm seeing 1 moment here.
Good morning. This is Marina with Hasbro Consumer Care. Is this Brian?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brian. John Carlos was telling me that, was it you that accidentally swallowed a Monopoly piece?
Yes, I believe I did. I'm not entirely sure. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, though. Could you please speak up a little bit, or...
It might be my mic. Make some adjustments here. Does this sound better?
A little bit.
I'm sorry. How about now?
Oh, that is better. Thank you.
Okay.
I was playing Monopoly the other day, and for scheduling and other reasons, I was playing against myself two-handed. I was using both the Scottie dog and the thimble against each other. And at one point during the game, the Scottie dog landed on Boardwalk, upon which the thimble had already built a hotel. And it completely wiped out the Scottie dog, as you can imagine, what money he had left in the bank. So I guess in a fit of rage, I sort of pounded the board with my fist. And I've been having some issues with anger management, etc. And one of the pieces of advice that I've been given is to sort of help calm myself down, take a moment, breathe deeply, and do something pleasurable. So I stopped and I ate a slice of pizza and I felt better, and I went back to the board to continue the game, and the Scottie dog was missing. I think that maybe when I pounded the board, it maybe leapt up onto my slice of pizza, and I think I may have consumed it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm a bit concerned. So I was just calling to see if there's any particular protocol I should follow, or if I should go to the hospital, or just wait for symptoms.
Okay. So what we would normally do is advise you to discontinue use of the game. We provide you with a prepaid label to collect the game in any pieces. The product itself, the pieces for the game are not toxic.
Okay. Well, that's good news.
So it would really be, if there's ever a case where you have a medical concern, then of course you should absolutely consult a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But the pieces themselves, they don't contain any toxic agents. So
okay, they aren't made of lead or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, why would I'm sorry. I'm just curious. Why would I need to wrap up the game itself and send it back?
So, and of course, it's ultimately up to you.
Okay.
We advise it because whenever something happens like this where there's a concern, we like to get that product back. We have our quality assurance team take a look at it, and we wouldn't want it to happen again.
Right.
If you were a small child, it would be different. Like we would, strongly advise to send the game back because we wouldn't want the child to swallow any other pieces from the game.
Sure.
So this is one of those things where I'm advising it because it's according to procedure. If you'd like, we could get the game back and send you something else, but it's ultimately up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you mentioned you're not even completely sure that you really did swallow the piece, but to be on the safe side, you want to make sure. So yeah, it is ultimately up to you. That's just, that's an offer that we have because whenever there's a concern, we of course want to prevent it from happening again. But I do understand you're an adult and it's a board game, so
Right.
whatever your comfort level is.
Yes, well, like I said, if it did happen the way I think it may have happened, it was because I'm the one who pounded the board and sent the Scottie dog bouncing onto my slice of pizza. But yeah, again, I can't say for sure whether or not I did swallow that piece. If it did land on the pizza, it was a fairly greasy slice, and I before I could chew very much, just sort of slid down my throat. So I'm not even sure if I would have noticed if I had swallowed the Scottie dog. But it's good to know that it isn't toxic. I guess if, let's say that I did consume it, I'm not concerned about poisoning, if what you say is true about what the game piece is made of. But do you know about how long it might take for it to pass through my system? Digestive?
Unfortunately, not. We wouldn't be able to. We're not in a position to offer any kind of medical, and I know that that's kind of the lighter side of medical, so to speak. But yeah, we wouldn't be able to advise on that. I'm sure it depends upon the person and what else we were eating and things like that. But
Sure.
In that case, we would say go ahead and consult a doctor for advice about passing it or how long it might.
Okay. And if it does pass, would you want me to pack it up with the rest of the game materials and send those to you?
I would say in that case, no, because we would have to be careful with our return team, who also would have to be handling and processing that. I guess we would ask for a photo in that case, in lieu of actually sending the physical piece itself in. And we usually do that as well. Like, I don't know if you're able to print the label if I email it to you, but normally you send an email of the label and then you can reply back with any photos. So what I'll do is I'll just finish up the notes here. I'll create a prepaid label for the game. And we can, I mean, it's up to you. So normally in this case, we wouldn't send the same thing out. This is a really exceptional case. But in this
really?
case, you don't have to get the game back if you still want the Monopoly game. Because normally when it's a concern like this, when you get the product back, we don't send the same thing out. So I don't know if there's a different game that you wanted,
Well,
or if you were happy with Monopoly.
I will think about it. I found it rather boring, and no offense to the game makers, but I'm willing to give it another chance. I only played it that once, and not even to completion. Once I realized that the Scottie dog was missing, I couldn't even finish the game. So I'll try playing one more time to completion while I'm waiting for the Scottie dog to pass. And I guess I'll keep a disposable camera or something next to my toilet.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your patience today, Brian. Was there anything else that I could help with?
I do not think so.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and you should get that email from me. Just have to finish up some notes and make the label, so within the next half hour.
Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. Do you know what happened to pizza at McDonald's? Do you remember it? Please send all correspondence to pizza@mcdonalds@gmail.com. To support the show, please join my Patreon at patreon.com/pizza@mcd's for exclusive benefits. And for more information, including links to social media, merchandise opportunities, etc., visit pizza@mcdonalds.com. Thank you to my invaluable Patreon producers: Bipolar Biped, Grant Bacon, Jacob Ford, Joe Kajik, Kimberly King, Kyle Turok, Pam Gabriel, Polly Egan, Thomas Young, Trisha Yates, Will, Adam Crump, Andrew Duffy, Andrew Ahmed Rubin, Billy Jean, Brad Allen Thompson, Creighton Barrow, Dan Dreyer, Gerald Lewis, Jeffrey Francis Silva, Jay Poop, Calvin Thomas, Laurel Paul, Opus Moreski, Paul Fu, and Ryan Guggenmoss. I'm Brian Thompson, investigative journalist.